At what point did you realize that you are a voodoo princess, or did you know that you are?
There was a call, I'll say. I think every spiritual person, there is a call that you receive. And that call, most of the time, comes from your dream. Things that you do since you were young. And this call keeps on going with you day by day. And at a certain age, the call is asking you to enter the gate. And it was for myself. I think each of us, we became a spiritual with a priestess, like you mentioned. We became a member uh, by different calls, but mine was a call when I was 20. It started when I was 20 years old. And it drains me like where I was focused to find who's going to be this person to guide me to my world of spirituality. And I was searching every day, who is that person? Until one day, I met with my spiritual father while I was in Haiti. And a year later, I asked him, I asked him if he wanted to be my spiritual father, which he was very happy and proud to be the person that I choose as a spiritual father. And his name was Max Gisner Beauvoir.
Because we're going to be talking about voodoo today, and many people don't understand what we are talking about by voodoo. Of course, this is thanks to the Western indoctrination of Africa, which make everything about Africa to be evil in the face of everything European or Western, as it were. By this, I mean, when you go to Google and type the word voodoo on it, you will see a lot of negative things, which, of course, the media have used to depict what voodoo means. But since we have the honor of having you here as a voodoo princess, I will want you to give us a background of that story that is different from the media, because as an Africa, we should understand that by voodoo we are talking of spirituality, not those magic that they're talking about there. So help us understand. Please go.
Yes. The word itself is very simple. The word is very well balanced. One day I took the words exactly from what you said. Why is it so negative? And deep inside, it's a beautiful thing. When you take the VO, you see in the V the violence, you see all the negativity in the V. When you take the do, you find all the sweet things in the do, which is you find love, which is a part of what voodoo is. You find community. This is something that is a part of voodoo. You find, the way that people embrace another person next, another neighbor, for an example. So it's learning how to live together, even if we if we think differently. But we need to live with love because we are human. The philosophy of Vodou is right there. And I think if you take the word cult, because some people consider it, well, it's cult, but a cult that doesn't believe in God. God have more than 8,800 names from a book of research at the time, that was years ago, so probably there is more name for God. While we are talking in English. The word of that divine, that that strong creator. We call it God. If we said it in French, we call it Dieu. But in African, we had language in Africa. We could call it otherwise, like Olowum. We call it Yahweh. We call it Yahweh. We call it Aizan. And the concept also of that spirituality, it's not like the Occident, the European, that decided to make God a white man with long beard, with long straight hair. God is in each of us. God is in me. God is in you. God is like the oxygen that you are breathing. Because the day that you stop breathing that oxygen, that's mean you are in the other side. That's mean you are in the side of the spiritual, the divine. You are in the other side. You are in the other mission of life. Because we had one life in this earth, which is the earth that we call paradise. Paradise is not for Vodou in the sky. We have our own galaxy. And this galaxy that we are in is composed with one sun, the moon, and the earth. And our ancestors call it the twin because they are inseparable. The day that the earth is far away from the sun and the moon, we are already in a black hole. Me and you, we will not be talking. That's the end of us. And Vodou itself has another concept of God. It's just like I said, God is in us. God doesn't need another person to tell you that he does exist. Because in Vodou, as soon as you are born, you were present to God as a baby by putting you up the same minute that you're born, where they put the baby up and present the baby to the gods, not just God, to the gods. The reason why in Vodou we put gods in plural, that's because the creator himself has branches. It's like a government, a lot of branches, because in those branches, each of those divinity is responsible to protect different energy that is around us. We have the river. We do have a divinity for it to protect it. We have the ocean. We do have a divinity to protect the ocean. We have the earth. We do have a divinity to protect the earth. We have the wind, the energy, that the oxygen to permit us to see there is an energy. And that oxygen that we are breathing, there is the air. We have a divinity for that too. That's mean all of this creation by God, with all the representative that God gives us, it's for us to protect the whole creation of God. That's the African way. This is why in Vodou, we are so tight with the environment. Because Vodou is not just like people believe a religion. It's more than that. Because as African, we find our medicine in the leaves, in the forest. This is why we believe and protect our forests. Because the medicine and the food is at the same place. And this is why we take all the divinities and all the gods, for everything that was created for us and everything that our ancestors went through to help us to appreciate what we have in this world. If, like for the Day of the Earth, which is the month of May, we call it the month of the Earth, because wherever you are, this is the month where the leaves started to change. It's like Mother Earth is giving birth to another child. This is another year that started years ago. This is when our ancestors could see the months. If you go to the old Egypt, to the Kemet, you will find in their calendar, May was the month that brings spring, where everything started to grow back to the earth. Because if you're in a cold country where you have the snow and the change of the season, you will find the month of May is the month where all the flowers is coming back, and the earth is full of beautiful flowers. All the leaves started to change to be a very light green. That's when all the trees is giving birth again to their branches with nice leaves, and etc., etc.